Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you in the living rooms across North Swindon to our Year 11 GCSE Key to Success evening for 2021. We are really sad, of course, that you're not able to be here in person, but please be reassured that all of your children will have be bringing home this week the packs of subject information that you would have collected this evening. And so please, if you can make the time to sit down with them, and you will be able to go through and see all of the information that they would have collected here. Whilst you have been waiting, you might have been discussing the two questions in green on your screens, which are important questions when you're looking at what makes success at GCSE. And firstly, to think about what GCSE success means to you and your child, and also perhaps considering how you can support as parents, how you can support your children to move towards their examinations. Excuse me one moment. Kieran, do you know how I can move that from the corner of the screen?
They can't see that.
No, but I can't read them.
Okay.
Right, thank you. Apologies. I can't move it forward. So when we were looking towards what GCSE success might mean, we looked at the pupils' views, and speaking to pupils over the last week, some of the quotations that we've got down here were some of their responses. I want to get through my mocks without feeling stressed. That was something that came from quite a few people. I need to get the grades for my A-level courses. I really don't want to let my dad down. If I get a 4 in maths, I will have done it. I want to feel that I've tried my hardest. I want to do really well despite remote learning. I want to get a 9 in DT. I've worked hard in history and I want to get a 7. For me, success will be if I've grown in confidence. It's not really about what I get, it's about how I feel I've done. So you can see that success, GCSE success, which is a term that we use very frequently, actually means very different things to different pupils. However, the main point here to say it's not moving this one from that. Sorry. Main point here is that the reason that you should do your best at GCSE is quite simply that qualifications buy you choice in where you are going in the next few years and into your future. That's choices to do, as you can see from the pictures there, of further academic courses, maybe at A-level, maybe at university, but also apprenticeships and, of course, employment opportunities into the future. So thinking about these choices and opportunities that your GCSEs allow you, I'm going to pass firstly to Mr. Russell, who is here from LPA, and then also over to Mr. White to talk about careers.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Owen Russell. I'm Assistant Principal and Head of Sixth Form at the Trust, and I've been asked to come along this evening just to speak to you very briefly about some of the opportunities that are taking place next term in terms of post-16 options. Just a couple of stats that are on the slide there. In terms of the Trust Sixth Form, to give you a little bit of background, in 2019, when the DfE last published data on A-level and vocational results, the Trust Sixth Form was actually ranked as the best performing Sixth Form in Swindon and Cirencester for student progress. And since then, the students have gone on to achieve even higher results, as you can see just below. The first event I'd like to speak to you about is a Sixth Form open morning for the students of Abbey Park. This event is bespoke to them. There won't be any other students on site at the Sixth Form. And really, it's an opportunity for the students to have a look at first of all, the choices of A-level and vocational courses on offer at the Trust. but secondly, to really get an understanding and an idea of what each A-level entails and what each vocational course entails as well. They'll have the opportunity to speak to subject leaders and find out what aspects they study on each of the courses. Register for a bespoke sixth form experience day, which I'll discuss in a few more minutes. And also look around the other opportunities on offer at the Trust sixth form. So, for example, we've got a high performance academy for those aspiring to Oxbridge and Russell Group universities, our careers guidance and employability skill programme, destinations programme, enrichment activities, and also opportunities outside of the classroom as well. Just one thing, students who do come to the Trust sixth form, there's also free transport across from North to West Swindon for those students. Following that day, we also have a sixth form experience day, which I'll touch on in a few moments, but I'd just like to discuss why we opened the sixth form to start with at the academy. One thing that we became aware of when we opened the sixth form up in 2014 is prior to this, there were a number of students in the Trust who were getting excellent GCSE results, but then not progressing on to post-18 destinations. And the driving factor really to open the sixth form was to try and support students within the north and the west of Swindon. As of last September, 68% of our students progressed on to university, and you can see there against the southwest average of 32% and the national average of 38%. And perhaps more significantly was the standard of destination. 31% of our university applicants went on to achieve places at top Russell Group universities and Oxbridge. So we really do feel that we support the students through that programme, and like was mentioned earlier on, put them on the right pathway for the careers of their choice. I will skip through these slides because I'm conscious of time, and I think they will be sent out later, but you can see some of the alumni of students who have just recently left us as of last year. Just as important to us as the university programme is our careers programme as well, and there's a number of students there who have gone on to secure top apprenticeships in companies around the southwest. And finally, just to recap on some of the events that are going on, I've already mentioned the sixth form open morning that is going to be, like I said, bespoke to APS students, which is on Monday the 15th of November, and that will take place in the morning. More details will follow for that in the coming weeks. And then that will be followed by a sixth form experience morning, where the students can come back over to the sixth form and experience 3 A-level lessons of their choice. So they get to spend the day as a sixth form student. 2 other events just to draw your attention to. We've got a careers fair, a Trust Careers Fair taking place on the 21st of October. And again, that is for students from across the Trust this time. And we have over 30 providers from the Southwest who will be running stalls where you can speak to them about career pathways into their sectors. And there will also be a number of universities there to speak about pathways into university. And finally, for the parents, really, because both the open morning and the experience morning are taking place in school during the school day, we've got a sixth form information evening on Thursday, 25th of November, where parents are welcome to come along, view the facilities, and again speak to the sixth form team regarding what sixth form can offer their children. Okay, thank you very much. And I will pass over to Mr. White. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm here to talk to you about the careers programme at Abbey Park this year and what you can expect from us and what we're hoping to achieve. So the purpose of the careers programme really this year is to support you in making a successful transition to the next phase of your learning, wherever that might be. So list what that consists of. So we do encourage you to attend a variety of open days and other events, have a look around, have a think about what kind of destination you want to go to. Is it a college? Is it a sixth form? Are you happier learning in the workplace? These are the choices that you need to be thinking about over the next 6 months or so. The majority of our students did attend a taster day at Swindon New College last term before the summer, which went very well, and we had lots of positive feedback about that. We are publicising all the events that come to me on my desk, so you will receive regular email updates from me about the open events as we become aware of them. If you're interested in more specialist colleges, then it might be worth your while having a look at their websites yourself. But as I say, I will be sending out regular email updates about that. Okay. students here have been lots of information about the various kind of courses that are available. Obviously, you'll be aware of A-levels, the traditional post-16 qualification, but also we have T-levels becoming available now. The vocational courses are now becoming more academic in nature, and certainly you can progress to a university course from those. And of course, we talk about apprenticeships as well, and that is delivered through the PSHE programme. So when you're thinking about what you want to do next, do think about what course you want to study, but also think about how you want to study. Is it through sitting in the classroom and formal type assessments, or you're the kind of person who would rather be learning hands-on and doing coursework and things like that? More and more courses are assessed through examinations, but there's still a choice out there. We do have relationships with outside employers, and I did speak to the students the other day about opportunities for getting a BMW apprenticeship. So if there's anybody else who still wants to talk to me about that, please come and have a word with me. We do support our students in the application process, so we regularly collect from the students where they're intending to go and how far they're in with the application process. So if necessary, we can offer them the support that they need. So Career Pilot is a really useful resource, and it enables you to have a good look around about what's available in the world of work. We've found by talking to students and through looking at reports that most students have quite a narrow idea of the job options that are available out there. They know what a doctor does, they know what a teacher does, they know what their parents do, but there's a lot of jobs out there that they're not really aware of, which is why we show weekly video about different kinds of careers that they may not have heard of, and in sectors that they may not think exists. So you do get experience here of having a look at a wider range of opportunities than you might do in other places. So the next two things that you need to be aware of: we do have careers advisor meetings that happen throughout the school year, and that's with the professional level 6 qualified careers advisor. I'd say probably about 90 of our year 10 to 11 students now, but in year 10 received a meeting, one-to-one meeting with the careers advisor. The remainder of our students in year 11 will receive that kind of meeting during this year, and we get feedback, we collect feedback from our students and see what they think, and it's overwhelmingly positive, because you're talking to somebody whose that's what they do, is they know about all the courses and all the options and all the opportunities that are out there. So it's a really important event. Tomorrow, 6th of October, you will have the opportunity to prepare for your mock interview, which is happening on the 14th of October. We have about 48 volunteers coming in from outside the school to give all our students the experience of a real interview. It's called mock interview, but the interview itself is real. And it's a good opportunity to try out your interview skills in a non-threatening environment where you've not got anything high at stake. So that's coming up in the next week or two. And then there is a programme of academic support that I'm sure Ms Jones will talk to you about in a second. So that's all from me, but if there are any questions, please drop me a line and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much to Mr. Russell and also to Mr. White. I hope you can now see in front, as Mr. White alluded to, this is probably the main sheet that I'm hoping pupils will have in their packs when they bring them home this week. And this is our programme of academic support for this academic year. So it has already started, the intervention cycle with Maths, English, Science and Humanities, and the first PDP session with tutors is already taking place. But what is outlined on the sheet in front of you is, in red, the events that parents are involved in. The blue ones pertain to careers and post-16, the information that you've just heard about. And the events in blue are the events that take place in school for pupils. The important date, of course, that we're all driving for is the 16th of May next year, when the GCSE exam season begins. But the green dates, the mock exams cycle 1 next term and the second cycle in term 3, are the points at which each of our revision programmes works towards. And so please do go through that programme of support with your child when they bring it home, particularly looking at the events that you can help them with in school in red. As you can see so far, there is a lot to take on board at this moment in time. Pupils are not only preparing for their mock exams and the exams next year, but you're also making really important decisions about where you might want to study next and even areas that you're interested in for employment in the future. And so our programme of support there tries to bring those different aspects together. And as you can see, we also have the second point down in term 1 there, the SLT interviews. These are interviews for every single pupil in year 11 that take place starting next Monday with a member of our senior leadership team. And the purpose of these interviews is to begin to talk over areas they might be interested in for employment, but more importantly, more precise ideas about where pupils want to study next year. Because it's the knowledge of what you are going on to do and what you need at GCSE that becomes your real motivator as you start your revision. And the main area that parents can really help with is by understanding this revision process and supporting its use at home. At Abbey Park, we teach, a 5-part system. I was talking to some of my year 11 English students today, and the 5 parts to that system is that you need, first of all, to understand what you have already learnt. That is the first part of the revision process, and you cannot move on to the second one until you have done that. You then condense the information that you have understood, learn the information, practice the information, and then check that form. And so it's very much a 5-part system: understand, condense, learn, practice, check. And that moves over and over again. In terms of understanding, the subject information packs that your children will be bringing home, this is where you can really understand with them what it is they are needing to know. You first of all need to make sure that pupils know the exam demands and the timings for all of the subjects and all of the papers that they'll go into. It is, as I keep saying to year 11, probably the most important thing is that you know what to expect when you go into the exam. Secondly, you need to then check your personal learning checklists, which pupils will be bringing home this week and are in exercise books anyway, to then identify areas that you're confident about and those about which you are unsure. Then with those ones that you are unsure about, in order to understand those, ask your teachers, check in textbooks, ask your friends to explain, use an online or a revision guide, attend those intervention sessions. Some of the numbers, I know there's been absence, but I'm having to do a lot of chasing at registration at the moment. So if you have been asked to attend an intervention session, you continue to attend that. It is timetabled for you until Christmas when we review for cycle 2. Please attend your relevant session 6 offers that people have been invited to at the moment. And when it's open again, please use the study hub, which is revision just for year 11 in the LRC, that's our library, after school every day apart from Friday. So that's your key to understanding what it is you've got to know, and it's definitely the place to start. Then when you have done that, it is the time then to move on to whatever way works for you of condensing your understood information into note form. And a lot of you, that central image there, these are all images that we've taken from year 11's condensed information over the last few years. Revision cards, very popular for a lot of people who like visual images. Post-it notes displayed around bedrooms, etc., displayed around mirrors. You've got mind maps, highlighting, and a much more kinesthetic approach to some aspects of biology on the top hand left there. It is, however, as I was saying to year 11 today, pupils often stop revision at this point. You get to the notes and that's it, but it is simply the second step. Because, of course, the important part you have to do afterwards is learn it. And we can help you to understand, we can give you ideas of how to condense information, but you have to simply learn this on your own. This is the most pupil-centred aspect of that revision process. And what you are looking to do here is to move information from really your medium-term memory and into your short-term memory just before that exam paper takes place. Perhaps think about revisiting some strategies you used at primary school and do that at home with parents or older siblings. That look, cover, write check of your condensed notes works very well, as does asking somebody to test you. The simple use of images in order to prompt your memory or symbols or colours could enable you to see those condensed notes and therefore remember them. Display to absorb information, just having them around your bedroom, around your house, and you'll begin to make associations with where information is and what information is. For some people, mnemonics with first letter triggers or logical ordering, such as alphabetical, can work, as can recordings. For some people, listening to the information makes it sink in to that short-term memory. By far the part of the 5-point system that requires the most dedication, the most discipline, is the practicing of it. Do not go straight from revision card into your exam. The part that will really improve is to know those exam papers, the timings, the marks, the topics, the expectations, the phraseology of questions, and then practice them either in school or as part of your personal revision. We have, as these begin to open up in term 3, lots of past paper clubs that work along the lines of the English Exam Friday that all pupils are doing at the moment, where they can frequently undertake past questions, particularly those that demand an extended written response, and have your feedback. Practicing past questions, by far the biggest key that will open up that success. And at the moment, it would be realistic to think that you would practice with those prompts, with your condensed notes in front of you. And then as the year progresses, you can then take away some of those tools to help you. Final part is, of course, checking that that information has gone in. And as we were saying, you can do that through someone testing you, checking your condensed revision notes, repeating it to another person, or by attending those past paper clubs in school, and of course simply with engaging with the teacher feedback that you get in school all the time. Excuse me one moment. You will also be introduced, as we move towards the mocks, to this memory clock, which brings all of those different points together. And it works on the idea of you either doing a 15-minute block of revision, a half-an-hour block, or another 15-minute block. So it works as a clock, or indeed a whole hour, where you perhaps spend 15 minutes in the planning, half an hour in the practice, and then the final 15 minutes in the checking part of your revision. And of course, we will go back to that and have more explanations for that over the coming year. So our outcomes demonstrate that this very simple process is very effective in you achieving your desired outcomes. This simple review, practice, check going on in a cycle, understanding, condensing, learning, practicing, checking is really the key for you to get the outcomes that will send you on your way to those next steps. So I'm going to hand over briefly to Mr. Young, who can demonstrate how these outcomes have been a result of this revision process in motion.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Jones. Good evening to you all. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I'm hoping that you can all hear me okay. I just wanted to talk to you about examination results and the exams for next year. It's very clear that the Department for Education is driving forward to a normal year of exams, and therefore our students need to prepare for that in the manner that Ms. Jones has just described. What I want to make clear is that we have had great success here at Abbey Park over the last number of years, and these slides perhaps give you some indication as to just what opportunity there is for for every young person who studies with us to be successful. Now, the grades for 2020 and 2021 slightly different, because in 2020 these were centre assessed grades, and then last year they were teacher assessed grades, but we were highly successful with those. But I would also like to point you towards 2019, which is the last time when students at Abbey Park School went into the exam hall. And during that year, we had great success. And some people say that we don't sing about this enough, because actually these are some of the best results in the town, and from a national average point of view are very good as well. So for example, we talk about students aiming for a grade 4 for their English and maths. That's the kind of the grade that they really want to get to, so that they can go on to study their courses at post 16. But also grade 5 is equivalent to the old grade B, for those of us who are used to working in those kinds of ways, which is something on which the school is also judged. And if you look at those particular results for English and maths, you can see that those are really, really high for us as a school, but also from a national point of view. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Thank you. And this follows on, for example, these are now the separated scores for English, and we'll look at maths in a moment. But for example, in 2019, 84% of the cohort went away with a grade 4 in English, 63% went away with a grade 5, and 25% went away with a 7 or above. So very impressive figures, and that kind of follows through the years as well. So what I'm trying to show students and parents is that actually the opportunity is there. If you work with us, okay, and students engage, there is every opportunity for success. And it's really important, particularly not just for these subjects, but for you, the subjects that are going to lead on to your next courses, that you are successful in them. And the next slide as well, please. And then you can see this also from a science point of view, again, very strong figures there as well, well above the national average in those also. And students who go on to study sciences are very often looking for at least a grade 6 as well. So you really do need to bear that in mind. So what I want you to be really mindful of is that exams are going to happen. Some students are saying, oh, well, with some of the impact of COVID and so on, things are going to be different. But the Department for Education is very much determined to carry on with this. Now, there have been some slight changes to examinations, which your children will be aware of, but they're only minor at this moment in time. There is going to be further information in February. For example, some subjects will have some options for topics and things, but we need to really take the view that we need to revise all of those things that our teachers are telling us to revise, and we need to have that level of understanding that Ms. Jones has referred to. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm going to pass back to Ms. Jones, and she will continue with the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Apologies. Thank you very much, Mr. Young. And as Mr. Young was saying there, it is very, very much Year 11 business as normal. What we are working towards at the moment is that first mock set that starts at the back end of November. The reason it's positioned then is so that we can mark those and have the grades back before Christmas. You can have your mock results, and on the last, the penultimate night of term, we have a Year 11 parents' evening that you are able to come to the school in person, we very much hope, in order to discuss those results and then make your plans about how you work towards the second set in term 3. So in terms pupils of what you need to do in order to be successful, in order to have those opportunities that we've all been talking to you about tonight, you need to think very much about the way in which you are planning towards your revision. And don't think too far ahead, just think from now until your first mock set. That is the part that you should be focusing on. Don't think of the whole, don't think of into next summer, just think of the chunked up part between now and the end of that first cycle. And you will be successful if you come to school APS proud every single lesson, every single day. And in terms of GCSE, your Abbey Park proud for your revision might look like presentation being the clarity of your learning notes and the creation of those clear revision tools. Your respect here is to enable earning, to enable teaching, but also to respect your own well-being as you build up to these important exams. You need to unplug, set boundaries for technology, sleep, move and eat. All of those things that you know contribute to you being better well-being and better learning. Also, organisation. You need to plan your revision and you need to start that early. In terms of understanding, as we've said, is that know that what success will look like for you. Have a goal that is personal to you to motivate yourself. Know your GCSE courses really well. Look through those PLCs. And on those PLCs, they can inform a personal revision process. You can start plugging gaps by asking the questions on the earlier slide. And lastly, your determination is what will see you through. You're looking for optimum attendance, high level engagement, and a commitment to you to catch up on missed work. At the moment, if people are at home and you're able to do the work that we're sending, grab that opportunity to do so because you may well regret that otherwise in the future. So you need to know you are worth the investment in your own futures and you will not regret a year's hard work now for what it will buy back to you in the years to come. We do know, however, that it can be a nervous and worrying time working towards exams. That's something your parents and us are able to empathise about. So remember that feeling nervous and worried are normal human emotions. They're actually often what drives you to succeed in an exam situation. But when you do need help, there are many people there to help you. Communicate with your parents and your teachers. If we know what's troubling you, we are able to help. As I've said before, embrace those intervention opportunities. Don't have someone needing to chase you. Be there at the right time and be prepared. Speak to your tutor. You have 3 PDP sessions in the year in which you are able to sit down on a one-to-one basis, just focusing on your needs. And likewise, the consultation days that are in the calendar and on that sheet that pupils are bringing home. Mrs. Bullpit is there to help you as your head of Key Stage. We are all here on the senior leadership team to help you plan. So plan your interviews before you come and see us next week and the week after, and raise any questions that might have come up as a result of this evening or as you're planning towards your mocks. You also have the additional needs department to help you, and there may be questions about access arrangements that you want to address there and to our examinations officer, Mrs. Boddy. We have our own school counsellor, Mrs. Yeoman, who is, I know a number of you have appointments with. I'm here as your academic lead. You have Mrs. Jackson that you can talk to about aspects of the PSHE curriculum, and many of those refer to personal study. And as Mr. White said, he is there to talk about careers and post-16 options. As a motivator, look at what you want your success to look like in August 2022 and where it is you want that success to take you, both in the short and longer term form. We obviously will look forward to those results and to celebrating with you. Before we close this evening, slightly more unusually, I'm just going to flick on to the next slide, but not the one after that. I'm delivering this secret message here on the behalf of Miss Bullpit, who is not able to be here this evening, but has entrusted me to speak on her behalf. And were you here in the hall, as we would like, we would send all students out into the street at the moment and shut the curtains. However, what we would like you to do is please could all students, all children leave whatever room you're in if you're with your parents at the moment. If you're on your own devices, I would like you to shut them down now so that I can just have a very brief word with parents without anyone listening. So parents, if you know people might be listening at doors, maybe turn down the sound on this, and I'll just give you a moment to make sure that your young people are out of earshot. I'm hoping that has given them enough time, and you are now sitting there without your children, so I can put this onto the next slide. And please, please don't tell them about this because it works beautifully. So I'm going to put on the slide now, so please leave if you haven't already. At home, you are likely to be your child's main inspiration and motivation. You might not know that, they certainly might not always act like that's the case, but you are. Remember back to the student that said, I really want to make my dad proud. Believe it or not, you will be able to motivate your children more than we ever can. And so what we would like you to do is to write them a good old-fashioned letter of motivation, either in type on a Word document, or if you wanted to write it by hand and drop it off at reception, that would also be absolutely fine. And we would like you to email your letter that you are addressed to your child to motivationalletter@abbeyparkschool.org.uk. And we need to have these letters by Friday the 11th of February, which is just the week before half term. And Miss Bulpit takes time printing the letters off, putting them in envelopes, and we distribute them to pupils in one of their final assemblies near the start of the exam season, just after the Easter holidays. The sort of things you could include is why you feel you can motivate your child, why you're so proud of your child, what you think your child can do, your hopes for your child's future, maybe even reminisces back to when your child was small. But anything you can do to let your child know that you are thinking of them, that you want them to do well, and that you are really, really proud of them. So that is a letter to your child, either emailed to Miss Bulpit on motivationalletter@abbeyparkschool.org.uk, or simply put it in an envelope and hand it in at reception, marked for the attention of Miss Bulpit. And please have letters with us by Friday the 11th of February in advance of the February half term, so that we can have those letters ready to send out to pupils as they near their exams. It works beautifully. It's often a very emotive morning, and it really helps Year 11 just make that extra push as they move towards their exams. I'm just going to ask Mrs. Hunter if there are any points we want to address from the chat. There is one question I know that's been asked, as someone's mentioned they haven't yet received the information packs. You won't receive that information pack until the end of the week. We normally hand information out together in the drama studio here. However, pupils will be given sheets of information in each of their subjects. They're collecting that together, and that will be in a Perspex wallet with your programme of academic support at the top of it. And so children should bring that home either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week. So I'm just asking Mrs. Hunter if there's anything else, Mrs. Hunter.
There's one more question, but also there's somebody called Lorna Smith who's put their hand up. They can put their question in the chat, please.
Hello, there's a lady called Lorna Smith has put their hand up. If you're able to put the question in the chat for Mrs. Hunter, we'll answer that for you.
And then there's been a question of can we access this recording again?
The recording that we're making at the moment, I've put the PowerPoint on the website, and there is also a copy of the academic support plan in the same place. And yes, we will put a copy after we finish recording tomorrow.
That's all the questions at the moment.
Okay. That's all the questions at the moment, but please, if you have a chat at home with pupils, and if you think of anything that you want to ask, just drop me an email, send it through either to myself or to the admin address at school, and keep lines of communication open. You've got coming up the first event that you are able to come back into school would seem to be the consultation day. I can't quite see the date to hand for that. And following the consultation day, you also have the Year 11 Parents' Evening at the end of term 2. So it's not very long until you are actually able to see your tutor and your child's subject teachers face to face to have some of those conversations. And we're hoping that will be real as opposed to virtual. Anything else, Mrs. Hunter?
No, that's it. There's just a lot of thank yous and lots of thank yous to everybody.
Yes, well, thank you so much for making the time, and we're sad not to be able to see you in person, but you should be really proud of Year 11. They have come back in, they have pitched in, they are working hard, and we are looking forward to seeing lots more of it. You've got everything to play for, Year 11. We'll make this a really good year, and you'll be able to celebrate that success with us in August of 2022. Have a good evening, and we'll see you all in the morning.